Welcome to the Old Stoney's podcast here on TalkCastPDX.com. I am Justin McDonald.
And I'm Matt Criscione.
And we're here every week, and we're glad to be here. And our show, of course, broadcasts at TalkCastPDX.com. But you can listen to it wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it be Spotify, iHeart, whatever. You're good to go. And we have a nice guest every week, sometimes two, sometimes three.
Sometimes just us.
Sometimes just us. But this week, we have a guest that was on our show way back when, a couple years ago.
Been a couple years.
And that was at the Northwest Cannabis Club. We bring it up a lot because we miss Mike and the crew.
We miss you, buddy.
But we have Kitty Chopaka, not Chewbacca.
Yeah, that's
Chopaka,
good. That's good.
with us from, is it Highland? Is that what we're still going with?
Let's just say that I've been doing a lot more independent advocacy, like just quite literally under my name, because I feel like it's gotten to the point where organization sometimes doesn't really help, and you're not as agile as you like to be.
Absolutely. Oh, I totally get that. I get
that. Where you want to be able to help everywhere you can when it comes to the plant and being out there defending it and promoting.
Yell at people in general.
Yeah, yell at people in general. Now, Kitty, we know you're from Thailand, and we focus a lot on there. But what are you doing right now? Where are you at?
I'm actually in Las Vegas. I'm coming for the MJ BizCon, the convention, and I will be here for about 2 weeks. I think I got about a week left to go on my trip, and hopefully be back the beginning of. I'm looking at like possibly changing, adding a few more days to my travel to be back in November, the very first week of November.
So once again,
it was.
Yeah. I was going to say, once again, you're back in the States for harvest, which is awesome.
Yes, I am. And here's
visit any places yet?
I visit Farmers Hemp, a farm in Tranquility near Fresno, because we were quite interested in terms of CBD, because CBD in itself is legal now in Thailand. Still lots of red tape.
Congratulations.
I did not know that.
Legal on paper. Practice, on the other hand, is a totally different sets of conversation. Absolutely. But I actually do have something to tell you guys. I had quite an experience coming in through border control. I was capped for 6 hours.
Oh.
Because of cannabis.
Oh.
Even though I didn't travel with it. And apparently, of course, because it's not federally legal, but because of our visa as a visitor, you're not actually allowed to use or purchase cannabis at all, even in legal states, because you are a visitor.
Is this from your country or from our country?
This is your country. I got stuck in San Francisco for 6 hours.
So weird.
I got transferred to about 4 or 5 different offices. They were freaking out because I have all the stuff that quite literally were red flags, because I bought gifts and whatnot. I bought bamboo bongs.
Yeah.
Of course I did.
That's insane.
I got nothing on me. Everything was clean.
Justin and I have spent 6 years in this industry so far, and the tourism from people out of this country would come to Oregon's finest. Shit, that was our bread and butter.
I had some.
That had to have been either a state thing. I've never heard of that happening in the state of Oregon. Neither. Thank God. I've cautioned people, do not travel outside of the state with this stuff because they will get you.
Yeah.
But we never had any mandate saying, hey, if somebody comes up with a Canadian passport, you can't sell them anything. So that has to be a state agreement between California and the feds, because in Oregon, and this is the problem with not legalizing on a federal level, is that we have different hodgepodges of rules all over the country.
Mm-hmm.
Like here is pretty restrictive versus Ohio, where you can buy one license and do whatever the frick you want with it. It's amazing, but every state's going to have this is the problem we're going to have in our country, is that we're going to have a hodgepodge of these different rules, and then we're going to have to try to regulate that under a federal, because we are going to go federal here someday. You can't stop
It's
this
just
ball
this
from
little
rolling.
thing you got to through, bob and weave through. I had some customers one time, Kitty, that were from Miramar, and they had their and they were like, all we want to do is smoke weed and hang out in the hotel room all day long, because they can't. I mean, it's punishable by death there.
Yeah,
and they were like, had to be real. They wanted to be like real careful that they weren't caught on tape anywhere or anything like that. I'm like, hey man, as soon as you walk in the door, there's a camera, so I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know what to tell you. But they were worried.
Yeah.
Speaking of the death penalty, Kitty, what's the punishment for cannabis in your country now?
Well, technically, if they decide to piss test me as soon as I land, I can go away for a minimum of 1 month and about $1,000 fine. That's just in the system.
And
carrying is another one altogether.
And you're not in your country at the time. You come in and they want to piss test you. That's insane.
It doesn't matter. It's down to like but here's the thing, like if that's gonna happen, I will make a show and tell about it. Unfortunately, I'm not a U.S. citizen, so I couldn't make a show and tell about it here.
That's right.
That's why we love you. You
got a spot on this.
And next time I come over to the U.S., I will stop by. The point of entrance will be Portland, because I swear that is like the ease. Everyone seems to understand. I love Oregonian. They're quite adorable. But yeah, I thought San Francisco would be quite understanding. But one thing I have fortunate for me is that from the very first time I applied for the visa, I did say that I was in the cannabis industry and that I'm going to the US to go and visit farms so that I can learn more about it. So they actually have been recording every single time I've been visiting as to my reasons, and it's quite constant. And then I told them that like next year I will probably end up being here around the same time for the same convention.
We have a
schedule.
We have a baker by the name of Elby for Elby's Edibles, and she always makes a point whenever she pays for anything, she will look the person dead in the eye and goes, "This was paid for by cannabis money." Yeah. I mean, hotels, restaurants, she doesn't care. She will always inform people where this cash came from, so they know.
Those are my favorite Canna-Warriors.
They are true Canna-Warriors, just like you. I always think of you in the same boat as well, because the last time you were here, you brought a whole bunch of child-proof packaging back home to kind of show everybody how we do things here. How'd that go over?
It cost too much.
I
actually talked about the oil bottle, and I'm like, I remember talking to the government pharmaceutical organization, the guys who were making the oils, and I'm like, oh, you guys don't have the child proof, and they're like, oh yeah, next time. And I think they've made about 3 different lots now. There's still no child proof.
Yeah,
I guess it's down to costs.
I would imagine you would have to pass on to your customer. It's just basic, but like you said before.
Well, the customer is me. I'm the taxpayer. So now they are charging the taxpayer for it.
Yeah. So taxation without representation, basically.
Yeah.
That
sucks. Now, you're in Vegas for this convention. Tell us a little bit about the convention itself. I got a lot of friends that are at this convention right now. Actually, I know probably a dozen.
I haven't walked in yet.
Oh, you haven't walked in yet? Okay, I was going to ask you.
I got my badge.
I just want to know what's the push. This year. What are they pushing?
I have my own agenda of coming. My agenda right now is like I'm trying to check out some harvesting technology and harvesting solution for Thailand, because like I said, CBD, it's actually hemp in itself, has been legalized in January this year. And since then, I think they already have about 100 or so licensed. Tiny area though. So like, don't convert it into like, say, Americans numbers. Because like, if you go like, 100 license, you're probably thinking about like acres or hectares worth of hemp. No. I think it was like altogether about not even 100 acres. Of that 100, probably less. The licenses. There's about 2 or 3,000 still piled up, hasn't been issued yet. So I actually do see that if everyone's going to grow, it's going to be like Oregon when recreational started, or like when CBD will become legalized and everyone's growing and then they don't know what the fuck to do with it after. Oh, apologies.
Oh, you say that,
But
you're fine.
quite literally, yeah, like where do you, what do you do with it afterwards? I remember you guys have problems of like people left it outside and then like the frost came and then they lost their whole harvest. People didn't put up places to dry them and all of those infrastructure that's needed for it to be successful.
There's very low knowledge base too, because this stuff was all illegal. So it was all kind of word of mouth. You can't go to, I mean, now they have college courses, but you really can't go to college to learn how to do.
Yeah, now you can get a
weed.
full-blown bachelor's.
Yeah, but here's the funny thing is, Thailand has got a history of cannabis that goes back thousands of years. From what you told me last time.
You know, that stuff that's tied to a stick?
Yeah.
But, you know, you told us that, you know, when the United States came through, they kind of said, we made weed illegal, and if you want money from us, you better make weed illegal. And, you know, culturally, you guys kind of lost that background.
Yeah, that's quite true.
The knowledge base back there from your elders, is there any being back there, do you think, that knows how to do this, but just kind of kept quiet about it? But maybe they have some techniques that help grow in your climate a little bit better just because, hey, I used to do this 20, 30, 40 years ago.
I think we need to look at it like quite seriously in terms of, say, the industry, the business, the money-making side. By looking backwards, because like I've always tell everyone, like, you know, you need to know exactly what products you're going to make, otherwise you won't know the expense or the things that will takes to go into it. But the problem is, if we can see what's in the market right now globally, we can't really produce that at a sufficient enough cost, because the market has changed. It's not like people want Thai stick now. Like, you know, even if we are able to produce Thai stick in the original form, it's not like the nice tight buds, crystallization, all of those things that you guys are used to. You'll be like, oh, this is crap weed. Then like, what the hell was that? It was good back then, but now it may not make sense.
Now it's, everything's been westernized pretty much and modernized and supreme hybridization of these plants.
I mean, the cultivars have been crossed.
It's been different. We can't find an original
like
Thai
people.
stick anymore.
It's like people. I mean, we've been crossed so many times.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
can't find the Adam and Eve anymore.
Yeah.
We're good to go. I mean, the status in Thailand right now. So the status right now is that cannabis is what? Illegal?
Illegal.
Medical cannabis, is legal, but with very limited access. Whether you want to be the producer or you want to be a consumer or a patient, it's still quite very limited. And also the product that's available is only produced by the government. If you can recall back about 2 years ago in Canada, there was a saying that like, you don't let friends use government weed. Same shit. And and in terms of hemp wise, it has been legal in the beginning of the year, but there's a good 5 years blockage on importation. So we can't import anything, any finished goods, any biomass except for fibers. So they quite put a limitation on that, because they said that we need to build our industry from the ground up here in Thailand and invent the wheel. So that's kind of quite normal for our government, unfortunately. But that's kind of where we are at. Like I see, I'm already foreseeing problems that you guys already have like 2-3 years back is going to repeat itself. But like with cannabis legalization, that's just kind of what I've been like, you know, I've just quite literally checking out the history and then telling people it's a prediction.
Yeah, you know, and it really
don't let them know about my secret.
Yeah, that's it.
We're having some issues here in Oregon right now. The southern counties have declared a state of emergency because of all of the illegal grows that we have. They're draining the rivers dry down there because of the water theft.
They're cracking down big time too on these illegal grows here. We
Oh
talked about
no.
last week. There was a big one out in North Plains.
Well, they found like a
200 acres. Or
yeah,
crazy.
1,700 pounds or so. It was over $1 billion. And these are cartels that are moving in and coming out in the middle of nowhere and just cropping up all these things.
Wow.
And they ain't having it. They're cracking down.
They're asking for the National Guard. They're wanting the Army to come in to help out because it's a lot. Yeah, so it's not all sunny around here.
So in Thailand, though, Kitty, what is the public perception as far as like the general public? Do they care that weed isn't legal? Do they want legal weed? What is the public been putting out there?
One thing I also forgotten to told you, they've removed from the narcotics list the cannabis or hemp leaves, stems, and roots. So right now, you can see cannabis restaurant all throughout Thailand, but there's a big ass but in there. They technically use the leaves just kind of like parsley or mint,
right,
as decoration on the food, quite literally. Like you can get like you can even get bubble tea, but with just the leaves in there. And they say that, oh yeah, we use we put some leaves into the syrup, and we put the leaves in there so that people know that there's leaves in there and that it's cannabis. And like, they up their price.
I want a cannabis boba tea to go, please.
Yeah.
We had juicing places that were juicing the leaves for micronutrients, and I get that. But yeah, you're not going to get high off it. You're not going to get any CBD off of that. You're not going to get anything off of that.
Yeah, you're just getting the health beneficial parts.
But here is like their recommendation is that what you call it, for no more than 4 to 5 leaves per day, because it will get you high. I know.
Okay, I got to find 6 leaves real quick.
I gotta make a salad. Is what I gotta do. I want to make a salad and just oh,
that's awesome.
Like we do have culture, tradition in terms of using cannabis leaves to cook. For us, it's actually there to enhance the flavor, kind of like an MSG, like giving it the umami, the rounded flavor in your soup, in your food and stuff. And then but at the same time, like they weren't really like pushing that one out. They were more in terms of they're more in terms of like what's the word, for it's just there. It's quite very gimmicky, very tourist trappy, because people are now also that fad is slowly fading away as well, actually quickly fading away. That kind of started at the beginning of the year, and by now like you can see it quite everywhere, and at the same time it's not doing quite the sales not doing as great as previously.
Yep.
But
I think we saw the same thing over here too. And it's funny with the cannabis industry, you'll see the people purchasing different things as time goes on. First they discover the flower, and then they go, "Oh, this is an edible. This is great." And then they move on to concentrates.
Yeah, the trends are always changing. I feel like because now it's the squeezables.
Yep.
And that's cool. And I'll give Select props. That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Being able to just squeeze it right into my drink and off I go, and I don't have to smoke.
Oh wow!
Yeah. This is where we're going here in Oregon. I mean, we got some great stuff. I mean, this is all over the country actually, but
now we're getting into 0-calorie seltzers and just water and weed, and they've figured out technology to mix those two.
We're still stuck on leaves.
And you're still stuck on leaves. Yeah.
Think of it this way: we're blazing the trail for you guys, because then you're going to be able to just kind of look up on the internet and just see, well, how did Oregon do? What did California do? And all this information will be available to you guys, and hopefully maybe you won't make the same mistakes, especially with people like you that are coming in and trying to guide the government into making sensible choices. Because some of the rules that we got around here, and even in Oregon, are kind of silly. Our edible laws are
silly. Yeah.
Silly. They don't make sense to anyone who actually is in the industry.
And I think now after, several years, and just like you've seen in Colorado, and, they've taken the time now, everything's so normalized, and they got, people new products all the time. And there's always, innovation and things like that. now you're in the States right now. You're at the convention. You're collecting data and information to take back with you. When you go back, who do you talk to when you go back to Thailand? Do you go to the government? Do you go to scientists, researchers? Who are you going to?
Well,
You
I
talk
I
about what
have
you
my
found.
friends who's yeah. I have already people since before I left asking for certain things for me to keep an eye on. So one, I'll be reporting back to all those that ask because quite literally I'm quite easy to contact, and like if anyone has wanted help or some information, I would just pass that along without like thinking half the time. So
Nice.
I have to report back to like all my friends who have like certain things I want to look for, as well as there is usually people constantly messaging me and asking me. I get so many message requests and friend requests. It's not funny. So a lot of times I don't even need to go and ask to find the people who I need to talk to because they will
Nice.
find me. But yeah, I will probably end up talking to a fair few university as well because like cannabis is starting to be a thing for like say like part of their program in terms of courses and whatnot. Whether it's business and things like that, it's kind of like the specialty that they like for me to go in, at least give a lowdown and lecture and report as to what's going on. I will definitely report to the IDPC, not in terms of the industrial wise, but more in terms of the right bit. IDPC is like the International Drug Policy Consortium. They are an NGO that works very closely with the UNODC and whatnot to make sure that drug users, as well as anything that's kind of related to narcotics and their policy, kind of look at people as human and that they have their rights,
That's a
as
good
well as
thing.
yeah, because I that's 6 hours. I'm gonna complain to somebody.
Yeah, 6 hours. I mean, gee whiz, that's just ridiculous.
Yep.
Well, that's interesting. Where do you see the progression going? Do you see the movement in Thailand moving quickly, or do you think it'll still kind of lag back at a slow pace? It doesn't seem. It seems like they're very reluctant to move fast. Where do you see things in maybe like what the next 5 years, maybe?
I would say it's fast and slow. Thailand has this habit of doing something weird, like say, who would have thought that medical cannabis was going to be illegal,
Yeah.
right? Like it seems like to come from nowhere. So like we have that going for us as well. So anything is possible. Like there could be someone go, oh yeah, let's do recreational, and it would just happen. But the
Right.
problem with all of that is it's usually come out really nice as PR or like to like news article or things that are mentioning it, while reality is a totally different thing. So that's quite what I see. It'll be fast and slow. Like something will be fast. They're looking at doing some sort of a health tourism into Phuket for foreigners to use some sort of cannabis, but I'm not sure as to what the limitation would be because stigma is still there, and they're really trying to push for the whole health stuff.
Hmm.
When to tell you the truth, like for me, it's like guys, like there's no need to hide. You can use, like this is the 21st century. People are quite more accepting,
Right.
but like there's still like that stigma that they even have on that front, and as well as the those who are actually in power to actually do anything about it quite heavily have that stigma deep set within them. Even though they're pushing for it, you can see that they don't care for or they don't even like people that use it. And a lot of time, things that usually come out of those people's mouth are like, "Oh, what if the whole country gets high?" And I'm like, but with that coming
Hallelujah!
out of your mouth, you're quite ignorant for like thinking that that's all we care about.
Yeah.
But like at the same time, We have the right to, God bloody damn it.
Right. That's absolutely right.
Like,
My
you
question
can't
is,
stop people from getting high.
and that was my question, is how is it now? Let's say I go to Thailand and I'm looking to score some weed. Am I going to some dude on the corner, or are there like black market dispensaries sitting around somewhere? Or how does it work now?
Don't say that I mentioned this, but like it's all over Instagram and Twitter. Just don't say that I mentioned it.
It
Yeah,
broke up.
and
Right when you said that, was perfect.
Right when you said it,
yeah,
broke up. So that's perfect. So
yeah, and here's the funny thing. I'm actually quite aware that the local like a postage company actually know that there's about a good 60% of their stuff that they sent around the country, their packages is illegal products. I would say cannabis would make up at least 10 to 20%, not too much. Most of Thailand's drug use is actually more in terms of methamphetamines and ice. And right now, cannabis is actually more expensive than meth in Thailand.
And they're using cannabis for addiction cessation now. They found out that it's actually really, really good for withdrawal syndromes and getting people off that stuff.
Alcohol. I've read
and also Kratom.
Yeah.
For Thailand, Kratom has just been legalized, like quite literally removed off the narcotics list, which I'm actually absolutely awesome for.
And they're thinking about making it illegal here in the States. So it's kind of a give and go.
The only thing I ever read about anything good about Kratom is as a health supplement, not as a smoking thing, but as a.
I stay away from it. As far as I know, it interacts with the opioid centers, and I don't fuck with that shit. That's why I smoke weed.
Here's the thing about Kratom. It's a coffee. It's related to coffee. So it works well for microdosing, like say not that much. In Thailand, the laborers tend to be the one who use it. They would chew on the leaves, about 1 or 2 leaves, so that they can work out in the sun throughout the day, and it will carry them on all day. And it also, if you up your dose, it actually goes into the whole pain management. And if you up it even more, meaning like kind of almost an overdose, that's where it will quite give you the euphoria, and it will hit your opioids receptor. That's why people has been using that to get out of fentanyl or other opioids or opiates addiction. But microdosing also works wonders for those that are older. Like my mother and my father actually use Kratom. My dad used it to give him that little bit of energy throughout the day, as well as help him keep his diabetes stables. It helps with the sugar, and it also, there was research for it regarding to yo-yo dieting. That like if you diet, it won't give you yo-yo, and also it's great for the skin and beauty, because it will help even out the discoloration on the skin, and it's actually anti-inflammatory, kind of very similar as to THC as well, in terms of if you use it topically, and also helps with like itches and smoothing things out.
You learn something new every day. The only stories I ever see on Kratom are about a 16-year-old kid living with his grandparents, living in the basement, sitting there playing video games, Kratom all day or whatever. Those are the stories you see in the media about it. So that's interesting to know. I had no idea.
The big thing we did since you were here last is we've legalized mushrooms for So you mentioned microdosing. Microdosing shrooms are kind of a new thing in Portland.
That's awesome.
We don't have stores we can go buy them yet, but as you know, as weed got legal, pretty sure shrooms are going to be going the same way. But yeah, Portland's just mushrooms silly right now.
Instagram page where you can this ball field had all the cow poop, so go to this ball field,
And I know Thailand's got a pretty decent mushroom history, or you guys played around with that a little bit more than we have, so that's kind of where you guys lead the way.
Yeah, it's illegal, quite badly
I'm
illegal.
sure it is.
But it grows in it grows naturally.
Exactly. And here too in Oregon, that's the funny thing.
And I was thinking to friends, we can actually do some business on this, because in Thailand you'll normally have you use the buffalo dung. It normally grows up in buffalo dung. So
We
I'm
do
like,
cow pies,
well,
but
yeah, but if you feed if the buffalo manage to eat the spores at the beginning, they will have it in their system so that when they crap, it will definitely come out. So I'm like, that we can just sell buffalo, right?
Right? Just sell buffalo cakes. They do the same things here in the States where they have these little plugs.
Yep.
It's not illegal to have spores for collection. If you're a spore collector, it's illegal to propagate them. So we have companies where you can ship and get spores.
Oh yeah,
but you're not allowed to open it or God forbid, plant it somewhere.
Wow.
Back in the day, I used to see ads in High Times magazine all the time. But get your mushroom spores, and there wasn't anything illegal. But it's But I remember there was an ad vividly when I was 13. I was reading High Times, and then the ad said, "Trip out, dude. Buy your shrooms here." And I was like, "That's
back in the day.
What's so big about mushrooms?" I had no idea they were psychedelic mushrooms. I had no idea. For the future, as we're getting closer to wrapping things up, today, I don't even know what time it is. But where are we at?
37.
Okay, so we're getting closer to wrapping it up for today. But Kitty, when you go back to Thailand and you get things settled, what does the future look for Kitty? What do you? I know you're going to go talk to everybody about everything, but what kind of do you have any big projects that you're working on that you can even tell us about?
Well, because of our limitation in our legalization, I've been doing legal stuff. So I've just released terpene gummies at home. So at least we can't, right now we can't really have the actual cannabis related product that is quite registered in our FDA. But terpenes we can. So that those gummies in itself is registered in the FDA and it's legally selling. And people are quite interested. And for me, it's more of an education journey. Ease them in. We'll start with the terps. And then I'm actually looking at finding a loophole in terms of using the leaves, but I'm trying to see if sugar leaves is okay.
Right.
Wink.
That would be awesome. There's gonna be a lot of THC on those sugar leaves, but you know what? You might get lucky. You might get lucky.
It's like all they said was it's not on the top. Right, and that there's no flowers attached to it. So I'm like, if we cut it out, it doesn't count, does it?
If that's the case, you guys could just go somewhere and find someone's trim. Because the water is taken off at that point, so they're just trimming off that sugar and usually either running it, hashing it, or just throwing it away. So that's good. Though. You're taking byproduct and turning it into a profit, which is awesome.
Kitty,
so that and then
if people want to learn more about you and follow you, where can they do that?
Facebook? Where can they do that? Facebook, Instagram, Kitty Chopaka, CHOPAKA. And my company Elevator State is still there, but it's kind of more, I'm not taking a hiatus, but it's more in terms of I can't do events in Thailand right now because we're still actually under curfew between 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. COVID is a thing. And we have a different sets of mindsets in terms of vaccine. For us is we don't have enough vaccine, not that it's not safe, except for the Chinese made one. That one has to.
We got plenty over here because nobody wants to take the damn thing. So you guys come over here and grab ours.
Yeah, I think we got.
Yeah, a lot of people actually have been coming to the US to get the Pfizer and have access to it. But overall, just Elevator State. I'm actually looking at doing something at the end of the year, maybe more online or some sort of a hybrid, but I'm like a fuck up night. So like the people in the cannabis industry in Thailand that's fucked up and quite literally share what they went through so that people are quite aware of how much it takes to be in this position. For most of us who start way a little too early.
Well, do you ever do that, something like that? You can loop us in. We'll take dabs and rips and show everybody how we do from Oregon.
Yeah, we'll hang out. We can hang out.
Oh, that would be cool.
Well,
probably I want you to do one of this like the other way around as well, where I'm interviewing you guys and asking you questions.
Oh, absolutely.
There's a lot of questions that I want to ask too. So we'll catch up on that front.
Absolutely.
Kitty Chopaka, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy MJ BizCon down there in Las Vegas.
Right?
Say hi to Elvis for us.
Go get a 777
Definitely.
or Slush or
go
whatever
to the Heart
hell.
Attack Grill or whatever that place is.
Go do a little gambling. Not too much gambling.
Have some fun. Go to a male strip club. Do it up. But we appreciate your time. We thank you for joining us on the Old Stoney's podcast, and we hope to talk to you again real soon.
Likewise, and thank you for having me. See you guys.
See you later.
Well, we want to thank Kitty Chopaka.
Yep, that was an awesome conversation.
That was great, and I wish we could be in Vegas hanging out with her.
Right? Fuck, I wish I could go to Thailand.
That too.
Someday,
Thailand
brother.
Sounds good.
Someday. We'll take the trip. We'll go.
I'm down.
Old Stoney's World fucking Tour, baby.
That's it. See how many countries we can get in trouble in. So that's going to do it for today's episode of the Old Stoney's podcast. Thank you so much for checking us out. Make sure you go to talkcastpdx.com. You can check out all the episodes right there. Also, you can listen to the podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. It's out there. It's out there everywhere.
We're everywhere.
Got to check it out. So follow us on Instagram at the Old Stonies. It's there. People have been sending me all kinds of messages. Every time I shoot them out something that we're going to be doing, talking to somebody, I get tons of messages, which is great.
That's dope.
I appreciate it. Make sure you follow it, though. If you're not following it on Instagram, it's at the Old Stonies. And that's going to do it for today. I'm Justin McDonald from Matt Criscione.
And Matt Criscione.
Till next time, keep on smoking.